The Bostonian is Matt Perrault.
This is our city.
The book is Dave Sharapan.
Pay him. Pay that man his money.
Together, they are the Bostonian versus the book.
You covered! You covered 12! Covered!
Follow the show on Twitter at Boston versus the book.
How do you like them apples?
Bringing you the best insight on sports betting news, Matt and Dave's daily picks, and an entertaining and unfiltered dive into the sports betting industry. Here's Dave Sharapan and Matt Perrault.
And here we go.
What's up, guys? How are you? Welcome into a Monday morning, Monday afternoon, Monday, wherever you are, episode of the Bostonian versus the Book. My name is Matt Perrault. We are live on our YouTube channel at Boston versus the Book. It's the same on Twitter and X at Boston versus the Book. We're replayed on Sports Grid Television and Sirius XM channel 159. And yes, I'm going to update you guys as to what is going on with our friend Dave Sharapan, who today is currently in surgery at UCLA Medical Center. More on that here in just 1 second. Our guest today will be Emerson Lotzia. He will stop on by. We will tell some stories, talk some baseball. We'll talk life. We'll talk a lot of things as Emerson's been a great friend to this program, a great friend to Dave. And we've been through a lot with Emerson, and why not have the first day without Dave? Bring on Emerson to have some conversations and some laughs here with us from DK Sportsbook. So stay tuned for that. All right. So I know a lot of you want to know what's going on with Dave as he is currently having surgery at UCLA Medical Center. I don't know anything else. Okay. That's all that I know. But you guys know me as a numbers guy, right? I'm kind of quirky, and I look at the universe and I try to find different things in the stars and try to find different symbols and signs. I thought this was pretty remarkable today, because today is the 7th of July, 2025. If you go 7/7/25 and add 2 plus 5 for 25, that is 777. In Las Vegas terms, that's a jackpot. That's about as good as you can get with 777. So all the good vibes, all the good thoughts, all the good mojo and momentum that we could ask for on July the 7th, 2025, aka 777 for Sharapan Strong. I don't know if Dave will share it. He might, but I've left it up to him as to whether or not he wants to share a video that I compiled of people in the industry, media members, wishing Dave best of luck, keeping his spirits high, and helping him through this very difficult time. Like, we're talking Scott Van Pelt, okay? We're talking some really big name media people got together. Kenny Mayne orchestrated it. I asked Kenny, and we have done a bunch of fun stuff with Kenny Mayne. And I said, hey, I'm doing a video of a bunch of people here in Vegas, and, really, Jeffrey Benson type, book guys who want to wish Dave the best. And he goes, okay, let me get on it. And he pulled some big names: Scott Van Pelt, Cooper Manning, Fred McGriff. Like, it was incredible. Like, every hour my phone was buzzing, and I was getting another video from somebody wishing Dave good luck during the surgery today. So it's up to the Sharapans. I've shared it with his family, and obviously he's been sort of, kind of like 0 dark 30 when it comes to social media. He's posted a couple of things, but it's been pretty rough. I went over to his house to drop off some stuff, and he wasn't doing great. So I didn't get a chance to see him before I left. And in case you're wondering where the heck I am, I'm in Manchester, New Hampshire at the moment, and I'll be here for the next month. This was planned months and months ago. So I'm trying to do everything I can to send the Sharapans the best wishes and trying to help them out as much as I can from here on the East Coast with them on the West Coast. But as of right now, Dave is currently still in surgery to remove the cancer, and hopefully we'll get some notification here in the next couple of days about how he is doing and progressing. He's going to be in the hospital for a while. This is not something like Dave comes out tomorrow and he is good to go. All right. This is going to be a process. And it's going to be me and you guys for a while, okay? And the show is going to look like this for a while. It's going to be a different type of show, as we've talked about and tried to prep you guys as to what the BvB show will look like. It's a 1-hour show now, okay? On most days, it's going to begin at 1 p.m. Eastern time on our YouTube channel, 10 a.m. Pacific time. Today it was 1:30. There may be a couple of days where we'll have to run, move the time around based upon what I've got. I had a call right before the show. I had to hop on. So I had to be there. So that's why we went late for today. But most often, like tomorrow, it'll be 1 p.m. So 1 to 2 essentially is the show. There may be some bonus time days. There may not. It just depends upon what happens during the month of July and what's going on for us here in the sports world. But it's me. There'll be hopefully a guest every day. Most days there'll be guests. I'm bringing in some weekly stuff. I'll give you more information on that coming up later in the week, but we're going to have some weekly guests stopping on by. We have new segments. We have Circa Sports on board with us. So the pro football story of the day will be brought to you by Circa Sports. That will be every single day. We have a new Friday segment that I'm going to actually do it today and on Friday. Our friends at Cut, the social sports book, they have come on board to sponsor a segment on the show. So they're new, and I got a fun new segment with them where we're going to do each and every week here for us. So there's a lot of cool things happening, but for you who may be, on vacation, you're coming back and you're like, wait, what's going on? Where's Dave? Dave has been diagnosed with cancer, and Dave is in surgery as we speak. So we hope everything turns out well and great for him today. And our thoughts are with the doctors at UCLA Medical Center, hopefully doing extraordinarily successful work with Dave to make sure he is back here on this show at some point in the very near future. I do not know. I'll just tell you right now, we do not know when Dave comes back. So for all the questions, if you're asking in the chat, when's Dave supposed to come back? We don't know. I want Dave back tomorrow. Okay. It's not going to happen tomorrow. It's going to be a little bit before he comes back to be part of the show. He has some rehab ahead of him. He's got some dark days ahead of him. It's going to be difficult, and he's not going to be out of the hospital for many days. He's going to be there for a while. So once he comes home, we'll have a better idea as to what life is going to look like for Dave. But it's been really painful. It's been a really tough couple of weeks for him. And today was the day. It was a countdown. Literally every time we talked, it was July 7th, July 7th, July 7th. Get me to July 7th. And so now we are here. I was texting with his wife, Jessica, this morning. They were at pre-op at UCLA Medical really early at about 6 a.m. Pacific time. They were there getting ready for surgery. So if I hear anything during the show, I will pass it along, obviously. And then tomorrow, if I hear anything, but I don't expect to hear much from the family for a couple of days. It's going to be tough for a couple of days as he recovers, as he heals from the surgery that he is having currently. It's a long surgery. He talked about it on the show. It's a 6-hour surgery. Okay. This is a pretty difficult in long surgery. So the recovery from it is going to be quite long. So hopefully everything's going perfectly. And once if I do hear anything, I will pass it along to you guys as to what's going on. So we will get Emerson Lotzia on here in a couple of moments. He's already in the chat, so he's ready to go. Looking forward to that conversation coming up here in a couple of moments. But first and foremost, we start the show with the opening line. All right, opening line for us today, and I'm surprised at the number of people who have taken a real big interest in this story. Luis Ortiz is a pitcher for the Cleveland Guardians. He is being investigated for a new betting scandal, and this one is really pretty unique. This one kind of takes the cake for what we thought might happen from a gambling investigation. A lot of things happened while we were off. But the biggest of which was, in a lot of ways in the gambling world, was this. If you don't know what has happened to Luis Ortiz is being investigated for two pitches that he threw on June 15th and June 17th. One against Seattle and one against St. Louis. Both the pitches were his first pitch of the third inning, one at the top of the third and one at the bottom of the third. He has thrown this season 1,501 pitches, but he has now been suspended without pay from the Guardians as the investigation goes on into whether or not Luis Ortiz was involved in a scandal that allowed gamblers to make money off of the pitches that he threw. Now, this is a huge problem. I have been on record for a long time stating that micro betting does not need to happen. In fact, we've heard it from Major League Baseball players when we were talking about the legalization of sports gambling, when we stood up and talked all about how we were going to legalize. People said we should not be betting on individual pitches. And a lot of people said, well, the latency creates it, so it's very difficult to do that, except between innings. So we have the longest time, 2 minutes, between innings. So if we're going to have a pitch prop, it could be the speed of the first pitch of the next inning, or ball or strike for a pitch for the next inning. And that's what currently is being investigated right now by Major League Baseball. According to ESPN.com's Jeff Passan, he wrote the following: the alert, meaning the gambling company, the gambling police alert, according to sources who reviewed it, referenced action betting on Ortiz's first pitches in select innings to be a ball or hit batsman in 2 games, June 15th against the Mariners, June 27th against the Cardinals. In the bottom of the second inning against the Mariners and the top of the third inning against the Cardinals, Ortiz threw a first pitch slider that was well outside the strike zone. I mean, it was blatant. Like, it was not even close. I watched both pitches. The alert on Ortiz's first pitches flagged bets in Ohio, New York, and New Jersey. Betting on the result of first pitches is offered by some sports books, with such wagers commonly referred to as micro bets. Here is my problem with this entire story. When we start to accuse athletes of doing things that are very hard to prove, it gets to be a little bit uncomfortable. In fact, not a little uncomfortable. It gets to be extremely uncomfortable because we have headlines like this. Can the Guardians ever trust Luis Ortiz again? That's from a paper in Cleveland. The problem is Terry Rozier was just accused of a very similar situation of being investigated for basically throwing games or throwing his props. And yet he was cleared of any wrongdoing in a betting scandal involving the NBA. His props were just so inconsistent, so up and down, that there wasn't any, quote, wrongdoing going on. Do we know if Luis Ortiz actually was throwing games? Do we know for a fact that this is going on? Because it's leaking out almost every week now. We're getting a new situation involving a Major League Baseball player, an NBA player, someone whose prop betting is under intense scrutiny because professionals got together and put a lot of money down. But how much money are we talking about? This is my problem. Are we talking about $500? Are we talking about $5,000? Are we talking about $50,000? Because if you're a book taking $50,000 on the outcome of a pitch, that's your fault. That's your fault as a book to have the liability like that, to take a $50,000, $100,000, $500,000, whatever it might be, on a micro market that can be manipulated. If it's not that much money and we're talking about $1,000, what are we doing? Even if the guy did take it, even if he did throw it, it's $1,000. I'm not saying it's okay. I'm not saying it's appropriate, but what are we doing? Are we actually this worried? Are we actually this concerned? So it has to have been an amount of money that got people's attention, right? Then why are the books taking action on these bets? I just don't understand. As I said, the guy's thrown 1,501 pitches this year. How much money are we talking about? How much money was bet on Luis Ortiz's pitching for the Guardians? How much money actually got thrown? Because I think we have to be very careful with the accusations we're making towards pitchers, players, basketball players, or whatnot, because we're ruining reputations. by just the whiff of impropriety. Just the whiff of it. Hey, he bounced 2 sliders that I've seen both pitches. Not good. Other pitches are being scrutinized. There was a strike call in a game a couple of weeks later in which he hung a curveball, like straight up hung it in the zone. And the batter swung and missed. And Ortiz is audibly heard screaming the F word. He was either angry that the pitch was where it was or angry that the guy missed it. Every little action gets scrutinized. Every little thing the guy does now gets looked at because now he's labeled as a cheater. And I'm not saying he's not. Okay. I'm not saying that Luis Ortiz is not dirty. I'm just saying, what is the evidence that this is now on the record? He is suspended for what he did, and we don't know exactly what his involvement is. Could there have been suspicious betting? Sure, it looks like there was, but it goes back to the books again. I don't think the books should be taking big bets on micro markets. These should be for fun $50 bets. This should be $25. This should be $30. This should not be thousands and thousands of dollars on a micro market because it can be manipulated. And if it can be manipulated, well, then that's on the book. Okay? That's the book's fault. You're the ones that let this go. So we don't know what happens next with Luis Ortiz. We don't know what the next step is going to be for him. He's suspended without pay, and he is now labeled as a cheater. Did he do anything wrong? I don't know. We don't know. But that is what is being accused of this guy, of being a dirty baseball player. But again, it's pitches. Why are we taking big bets on pitches? That doesn't make any sense. It should be small. And if it's small, what are we doing with this whole entire scandal? Like, I'm not saying we look past it. I'm not saying we go and have a flip out over it. It just does feel to me that we're going to the mat by suspending a guy, labeling him a cheater, going crazy, and throwing up this flag saying, oh, here we go. Because again, and Dave has been on the record of talking about this for a long time, the reason why it got flagged was because it won. How many times does it lose? How many times does a gambler go ahead and maybe has, quote, inside information that puts a bet down and the bet loses? Okay? The player loses. The reason why we're talking about this is because the sports books lost. They never flag anybody who loses. They only flag when somebody wins. Oh God, that third inning, that pitch in the second inning, it looked really bad. That was a really bad slider. How do we know he didn't just hook one? Like, how do we know that? So, like, that to me is a far bigger indication. Why are we allowing micro gambling? I think most people in the sports betting space would be completely comfortable with outlawing this and just saying, hey, we love betting on sports, but we don't need to bet on everything. We don't need markets on everything because we're running into these scandals that is causing those people in Washington to start talking about federalizing sports gambling and saying what can and cannot be done, which is what we don't want. We don't want that to happen. We want safe. We want quick payout. We want fair prices. These are the things that everybody in gambling we want. We don't require having to bet on individual pitches. We don't require having to bet on the miles per hour on a pitch. Look, golf is the next step with this because they want to literally allow you to bet on every single stroke. So is it going to hit the green, not hit the green? Is it going to go 300 yards? Is it not going to go 300 yards off the tee? Like, these are all things that the books want because it generates action. It generates handle. But if you take big amounts of money, you are asking for a scandal to happen. Again, I don't know if Luis Ortiz is dirty. Okay. I don't know if he's dirty or not. I just know that Luis Ortiz is on paid leave from MLB while they investigate this. And the last time we saw this, recently, a player was then cleared. And yet we're now going to talk about whether or not that player is dirty or not. Is Luis Ortiz dirty? We're going to find out. But again, I have a bigger issue with the book. Not that the guy's dirty, because plenty of things are happening in sports and sports gambling right now that is nasty and horrible. But I think we save ourselves a lot of strife and problems if we don't allow betting on micro betting, if we don't allow these tiny little markets to exist, because they can be manipulated way too easy. Way too easy. All right. I have no idea where Emerson is. Let's go find out where Emerson is, because he's not where he normally is. Emerson, what are you up to?
I'm just hanging out with my rich friends, buddy.
I guess so.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
this, huh?
Wow.
Day, buddy.
So you're in the back bay?
Oh, I'm in a back bay, all right.
Okay.
Yeah,
that looks great.
It's pretty sick. Check it out. Huh?
It's the whole skyline of Boston.
Yeah, dude. Check it out, my sweet chinchillas.
So what are you doing up there? Having fun?
I'm just hanging out. I'm sweating my balls off, dude. It's
You're
super
a
hot.
You're a Florida guy. What are you talking about? It's not bad. It's 91 outside.
And you know what, you son of a bitch? When I was a kid, I used to bitch about the heat. When I was a teenager, I used to bitch about the heat. When I was an adult,
it was par for the course.
About the heat. Yeah, it is. Hey, how's Dave doing? Have you heard anything?
I have not heard.
Few days.
Yeah, so Dave went into surgery. I was texting with his wife, Jessica, at about 6 a.m., 9 a.m. Eastern, 6 a.m. Pacific time. They were in pre-op. So Dave's still in surgery. He's got a 6-hour surgery. So he's still in surgery right now. Yeah. So
I texted him yesterday and I asked him, I said, what are you going to do if you get a boner in surgery? And like, what do you think you're going to do? They're just going to fold it back for you, bro? And he didn't answer.
No shock. He didn't answer.
I'm just trying to cheer him up, man. I've been talking to him quite a bit. And I know how nervous he is. And you know the drill too. You've been talking to him more than me, man. I've been thinking about him like so much and texting him so much. I'm like that psycho ex-girlfriend.
Yeah, but I mean, he's really appreciative of that, because I think it got pretty dark there for him for a bit.
Yeah,
and I think he didn't know what to do, because I mean, his life has been so much about doing content and talking to all of us and doing shows on Sports Grid and doing shows here and doing shows on MLB Network. And then it all kind of stopped. And so he had to, reassess, and he had to kind of try to find ways to spend his time. And that was really hard, because he was in a lot of pain. I mean, that was the one thing he kept on saying to me was how much pain he was in. I it sucked. So like, he just kept on counting down to the surgery to today for him to feel better. So hopefully that's what's going to happen. But like I told him, I said, look, the recovery is going to be as tough as the lead up. I mean, it's going to be, you're going to wake up and it's not going to feel great. You're going to be in a lot of pain.
No, but he'll be back, dude. Like he's going to be back full strength. Like I hooked him up with some people there for a little bit. I think I told you over at
Dana-Farber.
Over at Dana-Farber, and there were some really good back and forth there with some professionals, and I think they were very encouraging of what they heard from Dave, and they had some really good success stories. Like someone I knew over there at Dana-Farber just had a patient who battled the same thing Dave did and just ran the marathon a couple months ago. Yeah. So like I've just been trying to, we've all been through this shit where it's either ourselves or someone we really love, and we all really love Dave, and you just try to be there for him and try to distract their mind as much as possible. Like, like you said it, he's moving a lot. He's always creating content. So this downtime, it sucks because it also gives your mind some time to wander. And then, your anxiety kicks in, depression kicks in, all that shit. It's like an absolute shit show. So it is nice to lean on people who love you during those trying times. So I'm just a pervert in his chat. I know his wife sometimes sees the text that I send and she becomes slightly concerned.
Slightly, yes. Slightly concerned. Just a little
She
concerned.
loves how I'm trying to convince Dave, though, when he gets out of this and he's back on track, to get a second dog. She really wants a second dog.
Oh, okay. I think he would be very much against that, but yes, I think he would be pushing hard back on the idea of having a second dog. But you have 2 dogs. Does it ever get overwhelming to have 2?
Fuck no, dude. It's amazing. They're the only 2 people in my household who love me. And there's 3 people in my house. All right?
Yeah.
I love those little hair bears so much.
I don't know if Dave loves his dog, but I don't know if Dave has the same compassion that you have. You have a pretty big bond, a very strong bond with your. I mean, you're wearing a dog dad shirt at the moment, so
yeah, I am. Check that out. Just worked out. Dude, listen to this. There's some people up here on the roof deck. I just got out of the sauna.
Okay.
All right. I just got out of the sauna about 20 minutes ago. Right before I got out, old guy, just letting it dangle. Comes in. Most guys wearing. I feel like I always have a sauna story.
Shock. Yes, always. Yes.
Dude, listen. I'm getting ready to get out. I'm reading my book because I'm educated now.
Okay.
And guy walks in, just nutsack down to his knees. Doesn't have a towel on. He's got a micro.
Don't you have a rule? Isn't there a rule on that?
I don't think so.
Whoa.
Yeah, I try not to. The reason I don't necessarily let it dangle in the sauna is because I don't want to intimidate the other dudes. But this guy came in, and he made me feel good about myself.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, he made me feel really good, dude. Yeah. I'm hung like a horse compared to that guy. So anywho, that's I'm thinking about him a lot right now because it just happened 20 minutes ago. I'm kind of traumatized.
Don't blame you.
Yeah, man. Some low-hanging fruit there, dude. Hey, can I ask you a question?
Of course.
What are up with these professional athletes who think they can get away with this stuff? Like the story you were just talking about.
Yeah.
I haven't even heard that yet.
Okay.
And I know there are these NBA guys. Do they think they can be sneaky? And then what are they trying to accomplish by winning $20 on themselves?
Right. Well, Malik Beasley is the real scandal because Malik Beasley has serious financial problems. So that's the ultimate fear is that he's going to be a free agent and he's trying to sign a multi-million-dollar deal. But it's not just the fact that he owes money to gamblers. He owed money to everyone. He skipped out on his apartment. He skipped out on cars. He skipped out on a variety of different things. So,
dentist. He didn't pay his damn
correct. He didn't pay a dentist. Right. Yes. For a lot of work that got done. So all the things, so that all compounded for a millionaire who all of a sudden had, 6 to 7 figure bills he had to pay. And that was the fear that, okay, a guy like that, because the old argument is these are millionaires. Why would they ever be worried about $100 or $1,000? Well, Beasley would be because Beasley was in debt to 1 million people at the moment. So that's the guy that really is the fear factor. The Jonte Porter stuff, I mean, that's a 2-way player whose brother is Michael Porter, and he's always been in his brother's shadow. And that's a guy who got caught up with the wrong people. But, I mean, this story with Luis Ortiz, I don't know if he did it. I mean, I watched both the pitches. He threw the ball into the other batter's box. It was a horrible pitch. Both pitches were really bad. But was that intentional? Was that, did somebody pay him to do that or to pay off a debt? He did that? I don't know if you can come up with a definitive argument saying yes. That's the problem.
Like a cousin or something,
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's just dumb. But to your point, why are these guys even involved in this? This is why I think we have to take away this. I don't think we should allow betting on this stuff because all you're doing is opening yourself up. Or if you are taking bets on it, you got to take $50 bets. They can't be big bets. To kick off an investigation like this, it had to have been in the thousands of dollars that were bet, I would hope. But we don't know. But we don't know how much money was bet.
Isn't that what most of those books do with these bets, though? Is they set a limit on that?
Yes.
Kind of stuff?
Right. So, if it's $100 and we're going to drag this guy through the mud, hold on a second. We better know for a fact that he actually, I need an email, a text message or an email that says 3rd inning, first pitch ball. I need a guarantee somewhere that ties it back to Luis Ortiz. Otherwise, it's very, very, what's the word? It's ambiguous as to whether or not he actually did it on purpose. You got to know what's in the guy's heart. That's hard to do.
Yeah, careful, dude. No big words on this show, please. I'm Florida educated. Don't say amphibious around me, buddy.
Amphibious. Oh, the Red Sox are hot again. Are you feeling it in the city? I am here.
Yeah, dude. The city is electric, and so what do they? They've got this closing stretch against it's the Rockies and the Rays, right? So if you think, what is that? Is that 7 games total, or maybe 6? They go 4-2. I think that puts them like 4 games over 500. So then which is doable. So I think the question around here right now, Maddie, is what do they do if they're in that spot at the All-Star break? Should they be buyers? Like, I don't know. Like, this team's not going to spend money because I'm in the camp too, that the only reason they shipped off Devers is because they didn't want to pay that contract.
Agreed.
That is the camp that I am in with Devers.
You're right. It's not the camp. You're right.
Yeah, like you deal with all the drama and all that shit.
Look at his numbers, though. They sent him to the perfect, purgatory ballpark. Like, that's a really bad place to hit. Like, nobody wants to go to San Francisco. They sent him to the worst hitting ballpark in baseball. Like, and they got out of the contract. Like, it makes, when you see it in hindsight after the emotional, toll goes away, it makes perfect sense why they sent him to San Francisco. The problem for the Red Sox is, can they score? Well, against the Nationals, they just got the GM and the manager fired because they scored 1 million runs against those guys over 3 games. So they're going to trade at least 1 pitcher, maybe 2. I mean, Chapman's getting traded. Aroldis Chapman's an all-star, and they're going to trade him at some point in the month of July. Or
absolutely, dude. He's arguably having like the best season of his career right now. You strike while the iron's hot. I still can't get the image out of my head of him grabbing his mom's boob in that picture.
There's a lot of things wrong. There's a lot of things wrong with Chapman. There's a lot of things wrong with him. Yeah, he's a weird cat. That's why he can't stay. That's why he's been on 10,000 teams, because he can't, he wears out his welcome. But he's pitching really well this year for the Red Sox. Yeah. And Crochet was, typically Crochet yesterday. He was great. So they sweep the Nationals on the road. Now they have the Rockies here at home tonight. They should win this game and win the series against the Rockies. And then you mentioned the Rays. That's a big series. But then you go to the All-Star break and you have a chance to kind of reassess a little bit. And the Yankees have lost 6 of 7. They just snapped a 6-game losing streak. What
is going on with that team?
The Rays have the hardest schedule because they're on the road for the whole second half, basically. Yeah. And I'm not really sold. I like the Blue Jays. I'm not really jumping up and down on the Blue Jays. So, this is a really interesting time because the Red Sox could go for it or at least add talent if they wanted to, but I don't think they want to. I think you're right. I don't think they want any. They don't want to add salary.
Yeah, they're not going to do anything that is going to cost money, because what I have heard is that after next season, right? They're going to be like the big CBA negotiations. Yeah, and leading the way in the camp of the owners is Henry pushing for that salary cap, like a hard salary.
Good
cap.
Luck.
And so that plays into him getting rid of Devers and just having this team prepared and ready for when that ends up happening, if it does. But
it sucks to hear. I mean, I understand the point, but I think the Red Sox have historically never been the best when they're the biggest of spenders. They're always better when they develop young talent, and they've got 3 young studs that they're hoping turn into all-stars. So I think that's the theory. They paid Crochet, which is, I push back on people that say the Red Sox are cheap, and I go, well, hold on a second. They just gave Garrett Crochet, a ton of money to pitch for the Red Sox for the next 5 years. So they will spend in increments in targeted spots, but they're not going to go blow money like the Dodgers or the Padres. It's frustrating because it's happening at the same time that the Celtics are doing the same exact thing.
Yeah,
and I think that's what's sticking people going. We got 2 teams, and the 24 champs and the 2018 champs are acting like they haven't won championships in 30 years, and they're in the bottom and they're cheap. So
but you kind of had to expect this with the Celtics, like new ownership's going to be coming in and shit like that. Like
$6 billion is $6 billion. They paid $6 billion. Like, they got to get something back on their money. Like, I understand their point, and I'm cool with what the Celtics are doing. Porzingis and Holiday, I'm good.
Like they don't do all this if JT is not hurt.
Correct. Probably not, but I still think they might though, because they had to get under that second apron. So they had no choice. JT's salary is still on the books. So even though they won't be good next year or as good as they could be, his salary is still there. So like I think they still would have done all of this to try to get under that second apron, which I think there's going to be conversations in basketball as well as to like, do we want teams to have to break up talent when they have their own talent? Do we like this when they start breaking it up? So I think contracts in sports, I hear sports fans a lot in my DMs that say, I hate this. I hate the fact that we're talking about contracts and we're talking about salaries, and I don't like I want to talk about the game. Like, talk about the game. Talk about my team. I don't want to talk about some guy's contract off the field. And both Major League Baseball and the NBA are having gigantic conversations about that right now, and I don't think either league is too comfortable with it.
Yeah, wasn't the Supermax too supposed to be able to allow some of these teams to keep the talent that they have basically drafted and
Brown and Tatum, right?
Yeah.
They are keeping them, but who else? I mean, you have Brown and Tatum, but do you have anything else to show for it? Like you got two.
It's going to be the Peyton Pritchard show. That's what it's going to be. Get ready for it, people. That's my 6th man of the year right there. It's like the last bet that I've actually won.
I still am looking for the Pritch better have my money shirt. So we need to I need to see that. I was looking for it in Boston when I was there 2 days ago. I was looking around for it, going like, where is that shirt? Need that shirt.
Can we talk about the fact that you and your lovely lady are only here when I am not here? Like,
I was next to your house. I was literally next to your house. I texted you. I said, I'm on your street. And you're like, I'm in Buffalo. I was like, well, what do you want me to do? You're not in town.
We were supposed to be here, dude. And then she calls a freaking audible. And then we go hang out with her family, which is fine. I did some disgusting things to hot dogs over those 3 days because Salem's hot dogs in Buffalo are like some of the best hot dogs on planet Earth. And then my brother-in-law has this, he's a pyro. Okay, he's a pyro. He'll light anything on fire. He drives to Pennsylvania to spend thousands and thousands of dollars on fireworks every year. So it's like we get to their house at 3:00 on the 4th of July. And it's like, dude, it's 5 hours go by. It's 8:00. Doesn't get dark till like 9:30. And I'm like, man, my social battery is on empty. I'm talking to the same family members. Keep in mind, they're all getting shit-faced out of their mind. And I'm sober as a cuck. Just like, I'm like, dude, we've already talked about this already, Uncle Carl. This is the 3rd time we've talked about what kind of cupcakes are over there on the table. And so then we got to wait till 10:30. Dan starts lighting off the fireworks for an hour, and I'm like falling asleep. And I'm like, what are we doing? This is too much time to spend with family. Like there is a limit. Everyone out there has to read. There is a limit that you have to spending with family.
Oh, yeah.
And then the next day, Meg's like, why'd you take the dogs on an 8-hour walk by yourself? I'm like, I needed to get away from everybody.
You needed your own So just to let everyone know, that's what I sent to Emerson on his street in his neighborhood. So I was there. I was there with Amanda. We were there hanging out. Emerson was nowhere. You were nowhere to be found. So you were gone. You were out.
I just want us to hang out one time when you were here. Like,
it'll happen in July. I promise you, it'll happen. It'll happen in July. So keep the phone ready.
We're in July.
So this month.
You're coming back?
What do you mean? I'm in New Hampshire right now.
Oh, are you staying there all month? I don't know these things.
Yeah, I'm there I'm all month. I'm here for the entire month. So I leave August 3rd. So
buddy. Oh my God. Yes. Let's hang out. I mean, I'll come up. Are you near a lake or a swimming hole or something? I'm looking for a friend with a pool or a boat.
we can make it happen. Yes. We can have a lake day. There are ways of making this happen.
I'm looking forward to meeting your girlfriend.
Okay. Sure. Yeah, absolutely. We'll have a whole double date thing going on.
Yeah.
We'll do it up. We'll do it up.
Yeah. It's like I knock on the door. She answers. I'm like, here for the gangbang.
Okay. On that note, have a good one. I love you. Thank you for being on. I appreciate you. We'll talk soon. All right.
Too, man. Sharapan strong. All right. Big
Hell
man,
yeah.
Let's go.
Hell yeah. Emerson Lotzia joining us here on the Boston. Sorry, didn't mean to cut him off. Emerson Lotzia here on the Bostonian versus the book. Great to get him on the program from a rooftop in Boston, hanging out, talking with us here on BvB. Great to get him on, talking about everything happening in the world with Dave. And yeah, so our thoughts are obviously with Dave here today, and hopefully everything goes smoothly for him today. If I get anything during the show, like I mentioned, I'll update all of you guys as we continue, as we roll through what happened, well, not just last night, but this weekend. All right, we touched on it a little bit with Emerson, but the Yankees wound up snapping their 6-game losing streak last night, 3 games back of Toronto, but they win a game finally against the Mets, and the Mets just tattooed the pitching for the Yankees over the weekend. And this is a Yankee team that can't score other than the home run. I mean, whether it be Jazz Chisholm or whether it be Aaron Judge, Wells, or whoever they need, they're home run or nothing. And if I'm a Yankee fan, 3 games back at the moment from Toronto, everyone thinks Toronto isn't for real. I'm not so sure. I don't know what to make of Toronto. I'm kind of on the outs with them, but their offense has been there. They're scoring a ton of runs at home, and they're pitching better than people thought they were going to pitch. The Rays are a team that if they didn't have the schedule that they have right now, I would say bet the Rays to make the playoffs. But I actually bet against them to make the playoffs over the week, over the break, because I think the Rays, their schedule is brutal. They have, in the month of August, they're going on like a 18-game road trip because of what happened with the Steinbrenner Field schedule. They front-loaded it. Major League Baseball gave them a ton of home games. They're going to have, if they get the injury bug at all, they're going to be really in a lot of trouble. It's going to be really, really hard for the Rays. I think given the number of teams, the Rangers, the Red Sox, there are a bunch of teams, the Mariners, Toronto, there's just a bunch of teams that I think are going to be in the way for the Rays to make the postseason. It was plus 180 when I bet it. I'm not sure what it is today, but I think that's a good play to go talk about Tampa to fall off. Yankees, I still think will win the division, but the Yankees need to make a move at the trade deadline, and I'm not sure how active they're going to be. They need a pitcher. Like the old Yankees would go get Sandy Alcantara from the Marlins. Like they would go get him and bring him in. This new Yankee front office, I don't know if the new Yankees will do that, but that's a big one. And yes, Emerson, thank you for jumping into the chat. We love you too, Emerson. Thank you for being a part of the show. Look, if you're a Yankee fan, you're worried, and you should be. How about the PGA Tour yesterday? I've told you guys about this. So my former intern in Houston, Texas, when I worked down there before I moved to Vegas, her boyfriend, Kelsey McKee is her name. Her partner is Brian Campbell. Brian Campbell won the Mexico Open in a playoff and with one of the most ridiculous bounces you will ever see. Hit the tree, came back onto the fairway. It was like, are you kidding me? How the hell did that happen? Yesterday, this dude, he nearly blows the tournament. He's up by 2 strokes on the 15th hole, and he drives the ball out of bounds. He double bogeys. He then comes back with one of the most incredible shots for nearly an eagle, but he puts the ball on the green in 2 in a par 5. He lag putts, gets a birdie, and he winds up in a playoff where he goes and wins on another playoff. The guy turned around and flew to Scotland right after the game to go to the Scottish Open, and Kelsey was there with him. I was DMing with her today. She's coming on the show. So Kelsey, at some point, Kelsey's going to come on the show either, before or after we get through, the FedEx Cup playoffs, or I don't know when we're going to grab, but I was texting with her or DMing with her today. I was like, we have to get you on the show. She's like, absolutely. She'll come on the show and talk about this year. Because it's been truly, this guy last year, Brian Campbell, second year on tour, couldn't make cuts last year. Couldn't do anything. This guy's got 2 wins. He won $4 million at the Mexico. He won 1.5 yesterday, and he has like every exemption to every major tournament for the next 5 years from this. Like he's set. Like it is crazy when you go 2 good weekends. You get hot for 2 weekends. You win 2 PGA Tour events, and the world for your career explodes. Like you just have so many things that open up with Masters exemption, U.S. Open exemption, the Open exemption, FedEx Cup points, like all these things that come pouring your way where he'll have a chance to win the FedEx Cup. He's got 2 wins right now. Brian Campbell, nicknamed Soup, I mean, this guy is just having a hell of a year. I mean, like an unbelievable, unreal. Yeah, it was a duck hook into the penalty area, CBW. Absolutely. It's very good. It is a great story. I mean, the two of them, she's the sweetest girl ever. Like she's always loved golf. Her family are big golfers. She was interning because she was going to go into sports media, but she's a big writer. Like she wants to be a writer, a fiction writer. So like that's always been her thing. And I'm not really sure how her and Brian met, but she was golfing down in South Carolina where she met Brian, where Brian lives. And so that relationship has become like one of these stories on the PGA Tour because they're just really cute together. And she's a huge supporter of Brian, obviously. She was there in Mexico. She was all over the place with her emotions during that tournament. And the same thing last night, same thing yesterday, just having emotions and just overly, she is a great story because of the fact that the two of them just seem to be so in love with each other. And she runs out there and they're both pretty young. It's a really cool story for Brian Campbell and a really cool story for Kelsey McKee, who has a sister as well, both plays golf and whatnot. So she'll come on the show at some point in the very near future. But that story was awesome yesterday to have that. The NBA can't go quietly, right? They need to be in the conversation. And, well, they pulled off something we've never seen before. How about a 7-team trade? I'm not even going to read all of this, but this just makes Kevin Durant a Rocket. But it's the first ever 7-team trade, including the Rockets, Suns, Lakers, Nets, T-Wolves, Hawks, and Warriors, just to get Kevin Durant in that contract, and Clint Capella as well, to go to the Rockets. Like, this is insanity. Like, what are we doing? 7-team. It's not second round. Brooklyn gets 2 future second round picks. Great. There's all these future second round picks, cash considerations, and all blah, 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 blah. I mean, look what the Suns got. I can't even read that on the number of players the Suns got after all this, getting it back for Kevin Durant. But that's obscene. Like, that's a lot of players traded for one guy just to get the Rockets to have a real shot. And I mean a real shot to wind up getting themselves an NBA championship. They're going to be one of the pick du jours. They're going to be one of the popular plays with Kevin Durant on that roster. With Ime Udoka as the head coach, they've wanted it for a long time. They're going to get it. Will it work? I think everybody's, has their opinions as to whether or not this is going to work, but I hope it does, because I think it'll be fun to watch and see a team like Houston. They haven't been good forever. They haven't been good for absolutely forever, but a chance for them to jump on in and be relevant, more than relevant. They were the 2 seed last year. Now they have Kevin Durant. All right. It is time for a new segment. We got a new segment. This is going to be every Friday, but I'm bringing it out today because something happened today that I had to play because it had to be part of Monday. It'll be normally on Fridays, but this is a new segment. We've tried to come up with some fun things to do while Dave is going to be away. This is one of them. It's a brand new segment called Cut It Out.
Cut it out. Come on, cut it out. Cut it out. Cut it out. Get out of here.
For you kids that may not remember Full House, that's Full House. Every week, we're going to take a look at the most ridiculous things happening in the world of sports. Things that are just off the wall. Things are completely and totally crazy. It's being brought to you by our friends at Cut. If you guys don't know what Cut is, they are the social sportsbook, peer-to-peer betting. Okay? This is a chance for you guys to take the friendly betting that you do already to a whole new level. Cut is a social betting platform that allows you to bet directly against your friends and other users on basically anything. Sports, politics, pop culture, even personal bets with your buddies. All the bets are fully customizable and pre-funded, so nobody can flake on paying. In order for the bet to be put in play, the money must be there. Cut has tons of social features that make the platform more fun than the traditional sports betting platforms and applications. They actually give you cash back on every single bet you make, even with your friends. Visit cut.com. That's KUTT, or go to the App Store to download today. And when you sign up, use the code BvB, Bostonian versus the book, BvB, for a 10% deposit bonus right at the moment from our friends at Cut, the peer-to-peer social betting platform. This happened yesterday, and I'm actually stunned that this happened because I kind of like Alex Cooper. I'm not so sure anymore.
And CEO of Unwell, Alex Cooper.
All right, Daddy Gang and Cubs fans, are you ready? You've never seen something like this before. A 1, a 2, a 3. Take me out to the ball game. Take me out to the crowd. Mommy some peanuts and Cracker Jack. I don't care. Never come back. So let's root for the Cubbies. If they don't win, it's a shame. So it's 1, 2, 3 strikes. You're out at the old ball game.
The amount of booing was appropriate. In fact, we needed more booing, to be quite honest, from the Wrigley crowd at that. Alex Cooper is the highest paid female podcaster in the country. Rightfully so. She has an absolute army. She calls it the Daddy Gang. But that was awful. Like, intentionally awful. Like, if you're going to sing, I know you can't sing, Alex, but why not, like, try to do that? Like, why not try to sing just a little bit? If you're going to agree to sing Take Me Out to the Ball Game, it can't be worse than you doing that. Whatever you could have sung or tried to have sung the song, it would have been better than that. Like, that was awful. Like, that was horrible. That, time to cut it out. Get rid of that. We don't need that anymore. Yes, that's Call Her Daddy. Ian, that's her podcast, is Call Her Daddy. And her relationship with her audience is one that I have looked at for this show. And the fact that her ties to her audience is very similar to what we do, you know, to what we have conversations about. And everyone thinks it's Alice Cooper. It's Alex Cooper, not Alice. Alice Cooper is a rock star. More like call her embarrassing. Yeah, in a way. Sure. I don't know why that was done in that manner. I don't know what she was attempting to do, trying to be funny. Like, it didn't work. Whatever she was trying to do, it fell flat and it was awful. Like, absolutely, completely, and totally awful. I don't know why she chose to do that in that way, but to Alex Cooper, cut it out. All right, just the picks for today. Plays you guys can jump on in with. I'm going to look to the Royals and the Pirates, and the Pirates can't score again. Under 8.5 on this today. I think you have a chance to see a really low-scoring game. I mean, the Pirates got shut out 3 straight games and just couldn't score at all in their last series, and now they're up against the Royals. And Cameron going for the Royals, this is an opportunity, I think, if you're a Royals fan, to see your team win some baseball games. I mean, you know, it's when you have the talks around the Pirates that are running rampant at the moment because you can't score when Paul Skeens pitches, and it's really making a lot of people angry and could be making Paul Skeens angry for that matter. I mean, you play 2 games, you play 3 games against Seattle, and you get shut out. You get blanked. You can't score. I mean, 1-0 games. It's far too consistent with Paul Skeens right now for 1-0 games. So Andrew Heaney has been good for the Pirates, and we know the Royals can't score either. So we're matching up the 2 worst offenses basically in Major League Baseball. The pitchers haven't been great, I'll give you that, but good enough, I think, that we're going to run with the under here for Andrew Heaney and Noah Cameron. Under 8.5 for the Pirates and the Royals. I'm going to do the unthinkable. I'm going to fade the Dodgers. Why? Well, look, the Dodgers have lost 3 games in a row, and the Brewers are a home dog. Like, this is just a numbers play for me. You're going to give me plus money on a Brewer team that's been really good at home. And they just took 2 out of 3 on the road against the Marlins. They're 27-17 at home. The Dodgers have played better at home at 23-18. And I know it's Yamamoto. I understand all of that. But the Brewers score at home, and Freddie Perrault has been absolutely nails at home this year for the Brewers. In fact, he's 5-0 with a 1.76 ERA, a 2.02 opposing batting average, and 9 earned runs given up in 46 innings worth of work. Give me the Brewers. Money line. Brewers. Keep the Dodgers streak. Push it to 4. Peralta and company getting a W here against the Brewers. And I got more on that game besides just that game or that one side to go ahead and jump in on. Along the same lines on this, a prop bet of the day for this, I'm jumping in on over 1.5 earned runs for Yamamoto. I get the guy's been an absolute stud. I get that his ERA is sub 2 on the road. I know what he's capable of doing, but this is a 1-swing, 2-run home run type deal, and we go over. I like the Brewers offense. I like the way they're swinging their bats, and I think Yamamoto gives up 2 runs today. I think this number is too low. It should be 2.5, not 1.5. And again, I understand what the numbers say about Yamamoto, but I just, he's 8-6 with a 2.51 ERA, but on the road, it's a 1.57 ERA for Yamamoto, a 5-2 record, only 8 earned runs in 46 innings worth of work, and a 166 opposing batting average. He's been awesome. To me, I'll fade it. I'll go over 1.5 earned runs for Yamamoto. You can potentially get plus money on that depending on the book as to where you go with that. But I like the offense for the Brewers here today. Give me the Brewers on the money line, and let's go over 1.5 earned runs for Yamamoto. All right, time now for the Circa Sports pro football story of the day. Our friends at Circa Sports, they are back, and we have a big announcement coming up in a couple of weeks about what the August 21st, 22nd, and 23rd football contest weekend will look like. That's our target date for Dave Sharapan's return to BvB. So we need to wait and see how his rehab is going. We have to wait and see how Dave is doing. But the tentative plans is for us to throw a huge party at Circa Sports for Dave. We are there for 2 days, on the 21st and the 22nd, the Thursday and Friday, BvB live, 2-hour show, both days with, if Dave can do it, Dave Sharapan live on the air. If not, Dave just hopefully will be there hanging out. I'll host with a cast of characters. We'll throw it together for a long 2-hour show, and Dave will pop in if Dave can pop in. But that is the Ultimate Football Contest weekend. You guys have been asking about that. We teased it last week about what's going on. But the Circa Millions and Circa Survivor going on right now. You guys have to come to Las Vegas to sign up for this. But obviously there's proxy services and whatnot you guys can hire. But this is a big contest now. They've upped the ante, more millions. It's all happening in Vegas. The biggest millions in the biggest Survivor contests in the country, all at Circa Sports. If you guys want more information, go to circasports.com. We'll get further into what's happening with Circa, but the Ultimate Contest weekend happening August 21st, 22nd, and 23rd. And that's when BvB will throw a big, huge party, hopefully with Dave Sharapan back live on the air with us here at the Bostonian versus the book. But what a football season we're going to have. We're going to spend a lot of time in July and August talking all about the Circa Millions, Circa Survivor, and their brand new $100,000 winner take all contest for Survivor that we'll get into a little bit later on. Our story of the day is an interesting one. Travis Kelce is now telling media people about how Travis Hunter is going to get abused. Kelce believes that teams are just going to run fly patterns all day long on Travis Hunter to try to wear him out, that they're going to try to run him into the ground and run him all day. So he's exhausted and can't play offense or defense effectively. But we have seen this. Colleges tried this. I'm not saying that pros, it's not going to be a more difficult mountain to climb than what goes on in the, in college. We're now with the NFL and the physicality and the abuse, the violence, everything going into it. But Travis Hunter, this is not anything new. Like, they have attempted to do this to him for a while. I mean, wearing out Travis Hunter is what everyone thought. Oh, he can't play both sides of the ball in high school. Oh, he can't play both sides of the ball in college. Now they're saying he can't play both sides of the ball in the pros. I don't know. I mean, to me, I think it's a little bit premature to jump up and say, yep, can't happen. The guy can't do it. I don't know who you guys are betting for the offensive rookie of the year in the NFC, but it should be Travis Hunter. I mean, it's just until further notice, it should be Travis Hunter. He's going to be used a ton. I mean, I'll give it to you, CBW. That was college. This is pros. Okay, sure. But let's see. I mean, again, let's see. I'm willing to give the kid a shot before I'm going to sit there and say, oh, they're going to run him to the ground. He won't be able to handle it. Can't do it. It's just been every step of the way. It's been the same conversation. Can't handle it. Nope. Can't do it. Nope. Going to be run to the ground. Can't do it. Nope. Can't do it. We sure? We so sure about that? I don't know. I'm willing to give the kid a chance. I'm willing to give Travis Hunter a chance to prove some people wrong that he can go ahead and play both sides of the football in the NFL and be effective at both, at least for the first couple of years. Maybe not a long-term deal. For the first couple of years, I'm not going to say the kid can't do it. I'm not going to be that person. And then again, I told you, I think betting him to win offensive rookie of the year in the NFC is a good play. I like that bet a lot on this. For you guys who are watching live, don't move. If you're on the replay crew, thank you for being here. We appreciate it. We're back same place, same time on Sports Grid and Sirius XM. The rest of you guys, don't move. Bonus time starts now. And Will, if you are watching, I apologize. Emerson got loose. We're going to attempt to keep the shows, a little bit more clean than normal, just to make it easy for our friends at Sports Grid. But yeah, look, I get the idea. People hit you in the pros. People hit you in college too. Like, you don't think people in college football hit and tackle and they're not big bodies? I totally understand that there's a gigantic leap going to the NFL. I understand that. But he's growing. He's going to be working out full time. He's now with an NFL coaching staff, an NFL training staff, NFL doctors, all the things they're going to do to get his body ready for the NFL season. I just think it's a little bit presumptuous just to assume the kid can't do it just because no one's done it before. We've said this about Ohtani. How long have we said about Ohtani? Guys can't do this. You can't be effective and pitch. You can't hit at the plate and pitch. You can't win the Cy Young and the MVP. Well, I mean, look what Ohtani has done in his career. So I'm all for watching unique and new things. I am all for watching awesome athletes attempt to do things that no one has done before. And so to say the NFL is going to run him ragged and just run him to the ground and he's not going to be able to do it, I don't know. We're playing a ton of games, so maybe that's what he means, that over the course of a whole season, he won't be able to do it. But I don't know. Guys in the chat are calling Kelsey jealous. I mean, maybe. I don't know. He's jealous as much as, his career is almost over, so maybe that's why, in saying the kid can't do it. Or maybe Kelsey can't do it. Like, it's one thing to say, like, that Kelsey can't do it, or I couldn't do it. But to say that Hunter can't do it, I'm not going there. I'm not going there to see Travis Hunter can't do it. I think you got to give him the chance to do it. If he can't, fine. But give him the shot. Give him the shot to do it. Give him the attempt to see if he can be effective on both sides of the football. Because if he can, oh my God, if he can, you've picked yourself up a gigantic steal, like a huge. Guy, it's two players in one. It's a whole roster spot you've picked up, and that's gigantic for Jacksonville. So if I'm the Jags, absolutely go at it, kid. Show me that you can't do it first. I'm not going to say you can't do it. I want to see you can't do it before I do anything else. Let's watch and see how you play it out. News of the industry. So we did a bit of this, obviously, in the opening line with news of the industry, and that was obviously a big one with the Luis Ortiz situation. But the other one that happened over the week that we were off, was a new contract marketplace that we're going to watch because Kalshi has taken the lion's share of the conversations, but this is a new one called Railbird, the Railbird Exchange. It has been approved by the Commodities Future Trading Commission, the CFTC. So they have a license now to be able to offer contract marketplaces, sports contract marketplaces, and they have a really big group of people from all over the financial sector that are now in charge of running Railbird. And there's a big article on this on ingame.com right now that Brent James wrote about what this is going to look like and where it's going to go. Because if we're seeing more of these companies come online and there's money there, meaning there's funding there, and that folks are willing to put their money behind it, this could be something to really watch. Because at the moment, nobody's investing in sports gambling. If you look at the number of people that are out there looking for money in the space, so many of these applications, so many of these different companies are trying to find their next round of funding because the money has dried up. And if you're a sports book, it's FanDuel, DraftKings. They own 80% of the market, and everybody else is fighting for 20%. And that's not really something that the investing community is all excited about, jumping up and down about. So now if you open up a new 50-state solution with the CFTC, and if the CFTC is green-lighting more of these sports betting, quote, contract exchanges, that does open up some eyes, and that could open up some pocketbooks and make it really different and make it very competitive for the DraftKings and the FanDuels of the world to then do a deal or some type of merger or buyout or something of these exchanges. So watch that, okay? Just watch to see what happens with everything happening there with a new one, Railbird Exchange, but maybe others as well that very well might be coming online here to start taking sports contracts and, quote unquote, in my mind, sports bets in the space to go up against Kalshi and compete with Kalshi, because all we're ever seeing is Kalshi in lawsuit after lawsuit after lawsuit. A lot of people are on the sidelines waiting to see what the courts come back with before they dip their toe in the water. So that's one to watch for sure. Time for our favorite thing about today. All right, look, favorite thing about today is that you guys are here, okay? And the fact that you guys are willing to come on board and be a part of the show and watch the show. There's some big things. I'll make some announcements tomorrow about different weekly guests that are going to jump in. We're going to talk Big 12 football media days tomorrow. The Big 12, they're down in Frisco, Texas. So we're going to talk some Big 12 football tomorrow. We're going to talk every Thursday. We're going to break down different NFL divisions and season-long prop bets you guys can make. So to give you guys some actionable information for the NFL. So we're going to do that coming up every Thursday. We're going to pause Roll Call Friday, like I mentioned a couple of weeks ago before we wound up going on vacation, that we're going to pause Roll Call Friday because that is Dave's thing. And without Dave, there is no Roll Call Friday without Dave. So we're going to hold on with Roll Call Friday until Dave comes back. Again, if you guys are just popping in and joining the show or listening late, Dave is currently in surgery. We don't know what is going on at the moment. We hopefully that we see a ton from it. You know what, Jimmy Football, that's not a bad idea. Maybe we'll start Fight Song Friday early. Maybe we'll do that. I like that idea a lot. Maybe we focus on Fridays. We do a lot of college football on Fridays. Good job out of you. Let's do that. I'm down. Let's do that. Okay. So not a Roll Call Friday, but a Fight Song Friday. Let's do Fight Song Friday. Look, for those of you who are from my radio days, okay, opening line is from my radio days. Fight Song Friday is from my radio days. Let's bring it back. Let's do that. I'm down. I'm down with it to kind of bring it back and get us ready to go. I mean, guys, I can swear now. We are fucking 47 days away from Iowa State, Kansas State. Do you guys know that? We're 47 days away from Farmageddon in Ireland. In Ireland, in 47 days, we have a real college football game. Now it's in Ireland, but it's still a real college game to watch, bet, all that. 47 days away. Yes, Jimmy Football. That's all. That's all it is. That's how close we are to an actual college football game being a part of it. Yes, CBW, you can type in your area codes and you can tell me where you are and all these things. Absolutely. Yes, I'm so fired up for some mediocre college football. That's true. CBW, summer's not over, but kind of summer's over. Once you hit the 4th of July, I mean, yeah, it's kind of over. It's kind of over on a lot of things. But yes, okay, so you guys like that. So you guys can type it in the chat, area codes. Tell me, I mean, I'll pump it up. I'll push it up. If I see a unique one or a cool one or whatnot, you guys can do, I mean, this show is yours. If you guys, whatever you guys want to do, go crazy. Like type whatever you want in the chat and talk to each other and have at it. I just think putting it on the screen and doing it as part of the show without Dave doesn't feel right, in my opinion. I want to wait for Dave to come back and have Dave be a part of the program, and then we can do it with that. So that's what we'll do for Roll Call Friday. But Fight Song Friday, let's roll. Fight Song Friday. What is summer once you're out of school? I mean, summer just is the time to run around. Wax the snow shovels. Oh my, CBW. Cut that out. Okay. Speaking of which, thanks to our friends at Cut. That was fun to bring them back. So that's bring them on. That's a new sponsor for us. Again, that code is BvB for a 10% deposit bonus. If you guys haven't used Cut before, go check them out. We love new sponsors. And whenever we bring them in, we like to see you guys supporting those new sponsors because it helps to keep us on the air. So please go and check out Cut, the social sportsbook, download their app and use the promo code BvB for a 10% deposit bonus. Circa Sports is back. A lot more on Circa, on Million, on Survivor. We're going to talk to Jeffrey Benson and a bunch of people coming up as well about what's going on. So looking forward to having Circa back here on the program, and a big thanks to Emerson Lotzia from DK Sportsbook for being part of the program. We are back tomorrow, 1 p.m. Eastern time, live for a Tuesday's Bostonian versus the book.